It doesn't matter how large your portfolio is if you don't know the secrets to a happy retirement. The good news is creating a happy retirement is far simpler than people think if they just know what actions to focus on. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through 5 things you can do to create a happier retirement. Hey everybody, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and I'm here to teach you how to get the most out of life with your money. Most retirement advice is just about money. What should your asset allocation be? When should you collect Social Security? What type of Medicare option should you select? Now, these are all great things, but check out these stats. Studies show the 2 most vulnerable times in your life are the first 12 months after being born and the first 12 months after you retire. 1 in 7 baby boomers is treated for depression, which is a higher rate than other generations of Americans. And divorce among baby boomers is increasing. The number of divorces in that age demographic has doubled since 1990. So none of these things has to do with money, but they have everything to do with creating a happy retirement. So yes, you need to have your money right. Yes, you need to get your finances right. But just doing that, just having a large enough portfolio, just having the right tax strategy, just having the right Social Security strategy, while necessary, is not going to magically give you a happy retirement. So what we're going to do today is we're going to walk through 5 things you can do to create a happier retirement so you can make the most out of that next season of life. The first thing you can do to create a happier retirement is create healthier routines. Now, during your working years, unless you're incredibly intentional about it, many people's routines were created for them. The alarm goes off in the morning. They rush downstairs to make breakfast and get a cup of coffee as they rush out the door on the way to work. Then they spend 8, 9, 10 hours responding to emails, meeting with coworkers, meeting deadlines. Then on the way home, they come home, they make dinner, they do chores, they take care of a family. After all that, they go to bed and then repeat it the next day. So if you're not intentional about this, your routine is created for you. It's someone else's agenda. It's other people that you're caring for. And unless you're squeezing out some time for you, your routines can be hijacked. Now, the great part and the hard part of retirement is all day is yours. Now, assuming kids are grown and out of the house and assuming you don't have the responsibilities of work, you get the freedom to create your own routine. So that's both a beautiful thing, but it can also be a challenging thing because we can easily fall into and easily slip into this sense of not having a routine. And now, while it might seem like not having a routine is a great thing, and just thinking I'm going to sleep in and do whatever I want the rest of the day, it's going to feel really great for the first several days or weeks even, but at some point, you're going to start to feel like something's missing. And it's no coincidence that some of the most successful people will tell you that the big part to their success is having a successful morning routine. Whether it's Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, any other guru, whatever you want to call them, they all talk about the importance of that first 30 to 60 minutes of their day. Oftentimes, what does that mean? Well, it means not waking up to your phone. It means brushing your teeth, having some quiet time, getting an exercise in, all before your day can quickly become hijacked based upon what's in the news, what's going on your smartphone, what are other people needing from you. So when you have a day that's wide open in retirement, it's very important to get that morning routine in. What can you do to take charge of your day? To do something that's healthy for your body, for your mind, for your spirit, something that's going to start that right day on the right foot so the rest of your day goes much better. As I mentioned, it's going to be tempting to not have that routine. It's going to be tempting to turn off the alarm, sleep as late as you want, roll over and scroll through the news or scroll through social media, but that's not a recipe for success. It's going to feel real good those first number of days or weeks, maybe even months. But at some point, you're going to start to feel a little aimless. You're going to feel a little lost, and having that morning routine is a great way to instill confidence and happiness, and that's going to carry with you throughout the rest of your day into retirement. Now, the second thing you can do to create a happier retirement is practice mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is just the state of being aware of something. Now, this seems easy enough, but it's actually very difficult. And as I mentioned before, one hard part about retirement is you're used to your attention, your focus, being determined by someone else. Oftentimes you're raising kids and you're raising a family and you have the family chores and you're going to work and you're reporting to a boss and you're meeting deadlines and you're answering emails. And what's happening is all of your focus and attention is on something else. So what's the importance of mindfulness in retirement? Well, mindfulness allows us to be present. It allows us to see who are we really? What are our real concerns and fears and hopes and dreams? Because one thing that we want to know is who do we want to be when we grow up? And we no longer have the demands of the workplace or raising kids or doing different things that took so much of our time and energy going forward. In order to have a great retirement, we now need to be intentional with what is it that we want to do to make this the best season of our lives. Who are we really? And how can we continue growing into that person so that retirement becomes a time where we thrive and we can fully pursue what's most important to us? If we're not clear about who we are and where we are, it's difficult to do that. So the practice of mindfulness, which can be everything from meditation to journaling to prayer to whatever works best for you, is just the practice of still in our mind, seeing who we are, observing our thoughts so that we can be intentional of who do I want to create James to be? What do I want James to look like in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years? And all of us doing that for ourselves. Doesn't have to be a very complex exercise, but the more our thoughts are controlled by external forces, social media, the news, demands of life, the less likely we are to know ourselves deeply and be able to pursue what actually matters to us. So there's some real simple and known quantified benefits of mindfulness. Whether this is a boosted mood, improved sleep, improved concentration, all those are great. But again, to me, the bigger benefit is we can't start to live into who we are meant to be until we know who we are, until we know what's truly important to us, and that comes from still in our mind and being mindful, being in the moment, being present to see who we are and what we're going to be and what we're going to do as we go into retirement and really the rest of our lives. The third thing you can do to create a happier retirement is stay connected. Now, whether we like it or not, a lot of our social interaction during our working years comes from the workplace. Now, this, of course, depends upon what the nature of your work is, but if you're spending 40, 50 hours per week in an office, you're seeing your coworkers maybe more frequently during your waking hours than you see your spouse or your kids or your neighbors or your friends. Now, that's something that we oftentimes take for granted. When you retire, oftentimes there can become a feeling of loneliness. A loneliness in the sense that, yes, now my day is mine, but I didn't realize how important those relationships were to me. I didn't realize how important it was to have that social interaction, to be able to connect with other people. Even if I wouldn't consider them my best friends, that social interaction is very healthy. So when you retire, and now all of a sudden you're not seeing coworkers, and maybe by the time that you retire, kids are out of the home and they're maybe living in a different city or town than you're in. Maybe you see your neighbor as you take out the trash or go on a daily walk, but unless you're intentional, you're not just going to have natural social interactions unless you go out and find them. So while this can be challenging, the good news is with retirement, you have all of your time back. And ideally, you're finding a group of people that share similar values or at least similar goals as you. I've shared before in other videos and podcasts that I joined a Toastmasters club several years back. And one of the things that surprised me is I thought going into Toastmasters, it would be a lot of maybe younger people who are looking to advance their careers and learn to communicate well and learn to lead well. And what shocked me was the majority of the people in Toastmasters were retired or about to retire. And it was because these were people who said, you know what, I don't want to lose that sense of social connection. I don't want to lose that sense of growth. I don't want to lose that sense of challenging myself and constantly becoming a better version of who I am. And that was really inspiring to see because these are people who've retired, who have enough to be okay. But what they realized is it's not just about having enough money financially. It's about constantly being a better version of ourselves. How can we continue growing, continuing having those social interactions, regardless of whether we're working or not? So this could be Toastmasters. This could be going to a gym or going to a workout class. This could be a church group. This could be a local meetup. There's all kinds of avenues to connect with people that share similar goals or values as you. It just takes some intentionality. It's not as simple as just showing up at the workplace every day, knowing there's going to be those interactions. You have to go create those. But the quality of our lives is largely dependent upon the quality of our relationships. So how can we ensure we have quality relationships that will give us a happier, more meaningful retirement? And it starts with being intentional and going out to do that. The fourth thing you can do to create a happier retirement is take control by taking action. Now, when you retire, it's very easy to fall into the trap of procrastination. As I mentioned, your life has been dictated for you for 30, 40 plus years, and it's going to feel really good just to sleep in and have nothing to do all day. And that might feel good for days or weeks or months even, as I mentioned. But if that's how you live your whole retirement, at some point you're going to look back and say, this isn't all it was cracked up to be. This isn't really the meaningful, purpose-driven, enjoyable retirement I was really dreaming about. And what you'll start to find is procrastination is a huge issue with that. There's something called Parkinson's Law. And Parkinson's Law says work expands the time allotted to it. Meaning, if you have 30 minutes to complete a project, it will take you 30 minutes to complete that project. If you give yourself all day to complete that project, it will take you all day to complete that project. Let's say there's a leaky faucet, and it'll only take 20, 30 minutes to fix. And you wake up and you say, you know what, today I think I'm going to fix that leaky faucet. But you wake up, you make breakfast, and you say, you know what, I'm going to scroll the news first. Before you know it, a whole hour is gone. Then you get off the news and you start walking over and you realize, you know what, I forgot to text my friend back. So you go to text your friend, but you quickly get distracted by a social media notification. Maybe Root Financial released a new YouTube video. You watch that and that takes you down a rabbit trail of other videos and other YouTube videos, and before you know it, 2 hours is gone. Then you get off that and you actually go to fix the leaky faucet and you realize, you know what, I'm kind of hungry again. But you open the fridge and there's nothing left in the fridge, so you drive to the grocery store and you buy groceries and you come home and you make lunch. And what you'll start to realize is that pattern just continues, and before long, it's bedtime and that leaky faucet is still leaking. And because you gave yourself all day to do it, it didn't actually happen. Now, for some reason, you had a deadline where you had to complete that in 30 minutes, you'd have it done in 30 minutes. And not just that, but that would give you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of momentum, a sense of now the rest of the day is going to be better because you took care of that important thing first. William McRaven, who was a Navy SEAL and then later a 4-star admiral in the Navy, he had this to say in a commencement speech. He said, if you made your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task and another and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. Then later goes on to say, so if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. Now, it seems like a real simple thing. And whether it's making your bed or some other task, the point is this. If you wake up and take that first small action, it's going to give you a sense of momentum. It's going to give you a sense of progress. You're going to take another action and another action and another action. And before long, your days will feel productive. And when you feel productive, you feel happier. But as soon as you start procrastinating, you're going to start to feel like life's a little bit out of control. You can never really do the things you wanted to do. And one of the keys to happiness is to take control, and you take control by taking action. So what are the little things you can do? Whether it's fixing the leaky faucet or making your bed, start by doing something productive. That's going to give you a sense of momentum so that you're not feeling like you're drifting throughout retirement. And then finally, the fifth thing that you can do to create a happier retirement is embrace a beginner's mindset. Now, you just retired. You're probably at the top of your game. You probably elevated through the ranks and became a manager, director, whatever it was. You were really good at what you did. And not just that, but maybe you raised a family. Maybe those kids are now financially independent and on their own, and you're starting to feel like, you know what, you've grown a lot as a person between who you are now, and when you start to look at this, you're a completely different person now than you were when you were 20, 30 years old. Look at all the growth that's happened in your life, relationally, financially, professionally, to get to where you are today versus the 20-year-old you. Now, one of the reasons that growth happened is because you constantly embraced beginner's mindset. You had no idea how to be a father or mother when you had children. You had no idea how to do the job you ultimately ended up doing when you first got out of college. You had no idea how to get your finances in order when it first started. But now you do. Now you've done all those things and you're probably feeling like you're at the top of your game, but to continue growing, to continue experiencing that happiness and that progress, you have to constantly embrace that beginner's mindset. That beginner's mindset is what's going to allow you to continue learning and growing and becoming an even better version of yourself, which is ultimately going to lead to more happiness in retirement. Now, I recently did this. When it comes to embracing a beginner's mindset, my daughter was born 15 months ago, so it was my first child. And I remember between the demands of that and growing the business and all the other things going on, I was starting to feel like I was in a little bit of a rut. It was wake up, work out, wake daughter up, go to work, come home, be a dad, do some more work, go to bed, repeat. And so I talked to my wife and I said, I really feel like I need to do something different just to continue growing and do something to embrace that beginner's mindset and to have another outlet. So I started doing jujitsu. I started a few months ago and it's had a tremendous impact on me. Just the ability to have an outlet, to do something I had no idea how to do, that I was terrible at. But that process of growing and learning and experiencing and failing and growing and experiencing and repeating that has a great impact on my ultimate well-being and happiness. The same thing applies in retirement. If you're not embracing new experiences, you might start to feel like you're in a rut. It's going to be watch TV, walk the dog, do the chores, watch Netflix, and that's on repeat. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing to do that some days, what are the outlets that you have that you can pour yourself into? and fail and make mistakes and learn and continue becoming a better person and better version of you, that's what's ultimately going to lead to more happiness. So one thing I see, especially a lot of baby boomers who are retiring, is your life, you've almost felt dedicated to something else. Whether that something else was raising kids or providing for your family or paying off the mortgage or reporting to your boss. There's been something we've been dedicated to others. Now is your chance to say, how can I do something? How can I embrace that beginner's mindset and do something for me? Not in a selfish way, but in a productive way. To become a better partner, to become a better person, to become a better friend, to become a better everything involves embracing that beginner's mindset, and the end result is a happier and healthier retirement. So those are 5 things you can do to create a happier retirement. Now, another aspect of creating a happier retirement is knowing which things that you're ultimately going to regret so you can avoid those things. If you want to know the 5 greatest regrets people have when they retire, be sure to check out this video here where I walk you through that. Once again, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and if you're interested in seeing how we help our clients at Root Financial get the most out of life with their money, be sure to visit us at www.rootfinancialpartners.com.